just takes 3 hours to get from the station in Paris to Waterloo Station in London. It's phenomenal, and it caps off our grand tour of Europe. We've gone from Rome to Florence to Venice to Lucerne to Paris, and now we're going to enjoy 3 days in London. And now it's my great pleasure to bring you along on a walking tour of my favorite city in Europe. So let's just talk a little bit about today's walk. We're going to take the tube, the underground train, from here to Tottenham Court Road. Now, we don't have to change trains, so it's the one line, the Piccadilly line, that'll get us there. And Tottenham Court Road puts us in position to have a look at Oxford Street briefly, which is the shopping street. So we're actually going to begin and then finally end up at Oxford Street at the end of the morning walk. So at about 12 noon, we'll have lunch at Shepherd Market. And then after lunch, we'll walk you just a few blocks back up to Oxford Street and basically cut you loose at that point, and you can go shopping all afternoon. We have some options for later in the afternoon, including some museums, but we'll talk about that later in the morning. Later in the day, if you're planning to do several tube rides, it's worth a day pass. And then with that one ticket, you can ride all day long. Just so if everybody's ready, let's get up and go. Let's do it. The great appeal of London is its diversity. It's a large city, and yet it doesn't seem crowded. It's more a series of connected urban villages. Here we're in South Kensington, and we'll go into the tube, and within 10 minutes we're in Piccadilly. By the way, stand to the right when you're on the escalator in the tube, because the left lane is reserved for those people in a hurry who want to walk up or down the escalator. So always remember to stand on the right and let people get off the train before you get on the train, and you'll do just fine. Yeah.
We're in Knightsbridge.
We're at South Kensington. Okay, let's get on this one here. You can get in that door, you can get in this door, it's fine. The London Underground is clean and it's safe, it's efficient. The trains run every 2 to 5 minutes. You'll find that traveling as the locals do is the best way to get around in the cities of Europe. You certainly don't want to rent a car for driving in one of these cities. Oxford Street South. This is for us, Oxford Street South. So we'll go this way. And now let's take you on that tour of London that I've been promising you. So we've arrived at the beginning point for our walking tour, and we're at one of the busiest intersections in the city. This is Oxford Street, going in this direction in front of you, and off to your right is Tottenham Court Road. And if you look to your left, that's Charing Cross Road. That would lead down towards Trafalgar Square and Covent Garden. And this is the main shopping street. It goes for about 1 mile all the way down. We're at the very beginning now of Oxford Street, and we're just going to walk along it now for a couple blocks to give you a little bit of a taste of it. And I mentioned at the end of our walk, we'll end up back at Oxford Street in a couple hours. The British Museum is in this direction. That's Bloomsbury. It's about 3 blocks down and 2 blocks over. If you're looking for cameras or hi-fi stereo, Tottenham Court Road is the place to go. And for shoes, there's 70 shoe stores on Oxford Street. There's as many clothing stores all the way down, and the prices are pretty good. We're going to take a left, and we're going into Soho. Oxford Street is the upper boundary of Soho, and that's what we'll explore right now. This is Soho Square. Nice little square. You'll find a lot of little squares like this scattered throughout London. We drove past a few on the bus tour, Berkeley Square and Grosvenor Square, which is a bigger one. Some of them are actually private squares, and you have to have a key. You have to be a resident of the immediate neighborhood, and they're very exclusive. But this one is open to the public. And at lunch hour, you'll see lots of people out here on the grass sunning themselves and having their picnic lunches. And then fold your map so that just certain the useful parts are showing, because we're going to be all within this one particular area on the walk today. So if you go like that, okay? So yeah, fold it so that just this area is showing. That's it. Everybody else okay? This little Tudor cottage here is just the caretaker's shed. So now we're going to walk down Frith Street right into the heart of Soho. So we'll take the street on the right side there.
We're
Frith.
going down.
So at this point, we're very much in the center of Soho. This intersection, the next block down that way, this street, Greek Street, which is one more street over, and it's just pubs, cafes, restaurants, sandwich shops, Indian, Thai, Polish, Lithuanian, British, Italian, you name it. Every kind of restaurant imaginable, as well as many theaters. For example, Les Miserables is just around the corner. And the streets around here, oh, you young people want to meet some local guys? This corner and the next couple corners are just spilling over with people on the sidewalks with their pints of whatever. And it's really a great spot. So we're going to walk down Old Compton Street for just a few blocks, and then we're going to turn up into Barwick Street and see the fruit and vegetable market. A very lively street scene, just straight ahead. Let's take a picture of this vegetable market. This is Barwick Street, and we're not going to walk along the length of it because we're actually heading in the other direction, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. If you wanted to get a nice colorful photo of these fellows, this is a good snap opportunity. And also at the same time, you'll see the other side of Soho, the adult theaters and the pornos and the strip shows and whatnot. This used to be very much the red light district of London, and it's been cleaned up and gentrified considerably over the last 5-10 years, but still a lot of the old hardcore still remains in this part of Soho as well.
We're where we are.
And then we're going to go down.
Okay, this way. This is Shaftesbury Avenue, and it's the main theater street of London. There's about 5 theaters, and it leads down towards Covent Garden in this direction, and to your right it leads down towards Piccadilly Circus, and then in this direction it leads right to Chinatown, which is just a block over and a block down, and that'll be our next stop, Chinatown. And then we're going to work our way to Leicester Square and then Piccadilly Circus, all within a few blocks of this spot right here. So we're just going to go to this light and we're going to cross the street. So we're now in Chinatown. London has the largest Chinatown in Europe, and this is the main street. It's Gerrard Street. It just goes as far as you can see there, a couple blocks, and it's lined with Chinese restaurants, and there's Chinese produce markets and supermarkets, and then there's a couple more streets with Chinese restaurants paralleling each side of it. So we're heading now to Leicester Square, which is down this way a few blocks. This is one of the prettiest little parts of town, Leicester Square, and it's also full of energy and activity. There's movie theaters all around the square, pubs and inexpensive restaurants, outdoor cafes, there's bookstores, there's a lot of good souvenir shops, like you see this one behind you, the Crest of London. That's a particularly handy souvenir shop because it's got everything right there in one storefront. And you'll see other souvenir shops like that. On Oxford Street, there's a number of them. And, you know, the kinds of items that are fun to buy, obviously, are t-shirts. You all know that. Easy to pack. Maybe a little coffee mug, little keychains, anything that says London on it, right? Drinking glass, that's fun. Since we're at the end of our trip, you can just go ahead and buy whatever. Even if it's fragile, you can hand carry it home. You don't have to worry. So for now, we're going to about face and go this direction to Piccadilly Circus. So now we're getting right into Piccadilly Circus, which you see right in front of you.
For the British, Piccadilly is the center of their universe. Everything comes together here at Piccadilly Circus, and it makes a fitting climax to our tour of Europe from Rome to London by rail.